Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the Film Pundits. As you can see, we've kind of changed up our formatting a little bit. We're going to be doing the show 3 times a week now. We're going to be doing shorter episodes for you guys and try to give you more news more often. So that should be good. I'm joined here with Mr. Hector Navarro. How you doing, Hector?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
Good, man. How was your weekend?
It's awesome.
You went to Salt Lake City Comic Con, did you not?
That's true. I went to Salt Lake City Comic Con and saw a bunch of great people. A lot of awesome fans. Not for me, but just for the guy I was with. And it was awesome.
You got to hang out with Kevin Conroy, right?
I hung out with the voice of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic voice of Batman for 23 years, Kevin Conroy. I helped him out, and it was awesome. It was fantastic.
That's cool, man. All right, guys, so we're going to get into some film news. There's been quite a few things that have happened this week, so let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
The first bit of movie news is we finally got confirmation as to who Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to play in the DC universe. And, of course, as predicted by me and Augustine, Black Adam. He finally went on Twitter and confirmed he's going to play Black Adam.
It wasn't that you guys predicted it. That's just what you'd hoped would be the outcome.
Hey, we predicted.
I wasn't wrong. We didn't predict. We speculated, and I still am standing by my choice. I'm still wishing he would have played Shazam or Captain Marvel or Shazam. So,
and he went on his Twitter and to quote exactly what he says when he revealed the news, he goes, "Kneel at his feet or get crushed by his boot. Promising. It is my honor to become Black Adam."
Very promising.
Which I really liked. It was a cool quote. And he later followed it up with another quote saying, "Black Adam, a complex psychology motivated by badass dominance with a devilish charm. This will be fun."
Yeah. I think whatever that means. Yeah.
Well, I think it's cool that I'm interested, like I was saying before, I'm interested to see him play the anti-hero, which it sounds like he will be the anti-hero, not so much a villain per se.
It sounds like Warner Brothers chose The Rock on purpose. It sounds like they cast Dwayne Johnson in this role because they hopefully have a plan for the character.
Right.
The way that Dwayne just tweeted it out, it didn't sound like he's like, "Oh, I don't know anything about this, and this will be fun. This will be a one-note villain." Mm-hmm. It sounded like there's something in place.
Right.
There's a plan in place, which is really, really promising.
Mm-hmm. And there was one thing that kind of turned me off about the article, though. They were interviewing Toby Emmerich, who is I believe he's the president of New Line Cinema, which is the production company that's making the movie. He said, to quote him, he said, "Shazam is a DC Comics character, not a Justice League character, but he's also not a Marvel character." So that begs the question: is the Shazam movie going to be set within the same DC universe as Batman versus Superman?
Why would you say that? Why would you say he is a Justice League character?
Yeah.
The Justice League represents the best of DC Comics. He's been on the Justice League. He's also not been on the Justice League. But why would you go out of your way to say that? Mm-hmm. Marvel's never going to make a movie where they're like, "Listen, this character, he's not an Avenger. It's like, whoa, don't say that. Especially if they've been on the team.
Right.
That was I don't know. I thought that was a bad call.
I think the only thing that I don't know if this is necessarily redeeming quality, but one thing that kind of made it interesting was there's a possibility that maybe Shazam will kind of be the Superman of his own cinematic universe, because I think I know. I think part of the argument is if you have a character like Superman and Shazam occupy the same universe, you've got two very powerful beings who are almost similar.
Very similar. Incredibly similar.
So maybe that's the reason why, but I'm
sounds so silly.
I'm still I'm still on your side where I think that Shazam should be integrated.
Absolutely.
All the DC characters that are going to be on film should be integrated into the same cinematic universe.
Let's talk about it. What's the main difference between the two characters? Because they were created by different comic book companies,
right?
And they're almost as old as one another,
right?
In a lot of ways, they didn't quite find a place for him to fit because they are two characters that are so similar. But eventually, they found the niche. And what's the niche? What's the difference between the two? Superman is the established hero. He's Clark Kent. He's from Krypton. He's Kal-El.
He's alien, yeah.
He's an alien, but he is the ideal. He's the example in his world, that he's the heroic example set that every other hero aspires to.
Right.
And what's the difference is that Shazam is a 12-year-old kid. He's a kid inside.
Yeah.
And then when they found that niche, then they could put those two characters in the same story when they needed to be in the same story, and it was great. I would say look at Kingdom Come.
So the next bit is the New York Times was interviewing Ben Affleck while he was doing the press tour for his upcoming film Gone Girl.
Cool.
And they asked him about Batman versus Superman. And it was really cool. He definitely gave a lot of props to Chris Terrio, who's the screenwriter of the script. And he said that Chris, who also wrote Argo for Ben Affleck, said that he's doing something very unique to the genre and that the script is very smart, which I really liked.
That's good. See, that scares me a little bit, though, because I feel like in the world of superhero comic book movies, anytime a screenwriter, anytime a producer, anytime somebody behind the scenes says, "Oh, this thing is so unique," it usually deviates pretty far from like source material, source material that has worked for 50 plus years, source material that has a following, source material that, for whatever reason, when they make those sort of changes, if stuff doesn't work, it's like, look, it's because you didn't look at what worked and what didn't work from the source material. It always makes you a little bit nervous of like, especially screenwriters coming in from not the world of superhero comic book screenwriting. Do you know what I mean? Like, Joss Whedon was hired to write Avengers or rewrite Avengers, and I'm like, the dude's written comic books. He gets it. It's in his DNA.
I think using The Dark Knight Returns as their inspiration is also a big help.
Yeah.
Big help.
That's just a solid story,
It's
man.
a very
really
good story,
is. Like
and, you know, they're using that older version of Batman, and they're using kind of that route to introduce him to Superman. So it makes me feel good. I'm at least happy with the fact that an Academy Award-winning screenwriter is writing the script. Doesn't mean it'll be perfect.
Great.
No.
You're right.
Not by any means.
That's absolutely great.
But it at least gives me confidence that the attempt to make a good story is there.
They're taking it seriously, as they should.
Yeah. So we're going to move over to TV news. We've got a couple things we want to cover. The first of them being another Superman-related topic. Greg Berlanti, who's the executive producer on Arrow, The Flash, and was on No Extraordinary Family, and is co-producer from that show, Ali Adler, they're currently developing a Supergirl TV series, which is not going to be it's not a CW series. It actually doesn't have a network that it's going to be going to as of yet. They're going to write a pilot, essentially, pitch that around to the networks and see who picks it up. So what do you think, given that they've now tried to do two separate Wonder Woman TV shows and neither of them have taken off? Do you think that and Jeff Johns will be executive producing this? Do you think with those three people and those two and Jeff Johns, do you think that they have a chance of finally making a good female-led TV show?
Oh, okay.
And on top of that, a really good Supergirl interpretation.
Sure. That's interesting. I like that, the way you've phrased that question, because I think that the time is now to do a female-led show. First of all, my initial reaction is like, cool, not like, what's the point? Like, not really worth it. What I would rather see, and this was my initial reaction to the Flash idea, that because it's a TV show, what I would rather see is just a Flash movie. Now, at this point, if we are to believe the rumors from Warner Brothers DC, we're not getting a Flash solo movie. He's going to be in Justice League, but we're going to get a Flash Green Lantern team-up movie. Yeah. Okay, so cool, I'm interested in that. But what I would rather see is a Supergirl movie based in the universe of the Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman. And I'm thinking about the little details and the little hints that they dropped in Man of Steel
when he's on the ship.
When he goes to the ship, when he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and there's one of those like little pods like from Aliens or whatever, it's like open. Having said that, okay, about Supergirl and her having her own show, and if it's a show that they're trying to pitch to another network and it's not already tied into the sort of the momentous train that is Arrow and the Flash and that shared universe, and if it's not tied into like the world of Gotham on Fox, because that doesn't really, and it's not tied into the world of Constantine, obviously. I'm thinking like, cool, I love Supergirl, but you really need to have Superman there as a foundation. And if there's not that, if it's not a spin-off of Smallville, which is now canceled and long gone, but like that was a 10-year-long Superman show where Supergirl was a character at one point. Right. I kind of feel like it's tough to do Supergirl on her own. The Flash can have his own show. Arrow has proven he can have his own show. Constantine, great. Gotham, great. But again, Supergirl without that backbone of Superman. Having said that, people love an attractive blonde woman, so like this is probably going to do fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like if you're going to do this character, like you said, you want to put it kind of in an established network.
Yeah.
So to have her on Arrow and to have her on The Flash, and they already said like Batman and Superman will not be on those shows.
Sure, it's a separate thing.
So why not put Supergirl in there? And I think it would be really cool to have, because it's going to be, they're eventually going to lead, that show, those two shows are going to lead into the Justice League of America, or at least like a team up of that kind.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
That's
like
basically
TV-wise?
what they said. Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
going to be the Justice League of America will be like the TV version. Why not have Supergirl be the Superman of that team?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
That would be awesome.
That kind of makes
You'd
sense.
have this very powerful woman who is essentially could be one of the leaders because of her strength and all that stuff. I think that'd be cool.
This really tricky thing again is like you can't have that character exist in a world without Superman.
Well, and the thing with them is they said they didn't necessarily say that Batman and Superman exist in that universe.
Right.
They're just not going to be on the show.
Sure.
So maybe if they try to integrate Supergirl, they'll try to integrate Batman and Superman in by dialogue, not necessarily implement them into the story.
Their presence is felt without
exactly.
But you really kind of need Clark
Superman.
Kent Kal-El. You know, you need him to discover her in that rocket or whatever, and be like, "Oh, you're my cousin," or another survivor from Krypton. Like, it's good for him too.
Right.
You know, it's like he gets to deal with that whole emotional thing of like, I found somebody from Krypton.
Right. Right.
I don't know. So that's gonna be tough, man.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's right now it's still in the writing phase, so there's a long way before we even see if it even gets picked up. So
we'll see.
We'll hope for the best.
Cool.
Well, a lot of new casting for a lot of these TV shows. We've got Dominic Purcell, who is Wentworth Miller's former co-star on Prison Break. He's joining The Flash as Heatwave.
Awesome.
Then we got Matt Nable, or was announced to be playing. Finally teased Ra's al Ghul.
Is it? It's Ra's al Ghul, right?
I don't know.
I think it's Ra's.
I think they're doing Ra's in this series.
No, I don't know what they're gonna call it, but I know that Ra's al Ghul is the incorrect pronunciation.
Yeah,
it's Ra's.
That's how I grew up knowing it.
That's how Paul Dini pronounces it. So it's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, which I think is actually how they pronounce in the trailer. So
going
back to Ra's al Ghul. Yeah,
nice.
And then Emmett Scanlan is going to be joining Constantine as Jim Corrigan, a.k.a. the Spectre, which
that's really cool.
We were talking about before the show. The DC, what is it? The DC Showcase short?
The DC animated short. It's in the DC Showcase with Superman Shazam when they released it on Blu-ray DVD. It's good. Awesome. It's so good.
that was like, I think out of all these things, I mean, I like Ra's al Ghul. I like that they're doing stuff for Flash.
Heatwave's an interesting, cool character.
Yeah,
like, he's a messed up
and him and Captain Cold are going to actually team up.
Yeah,
which is like perfect for those two actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But I'm definitely most excited for Spectre.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be Jim Corrigan. I don't know if we're actually going to get to see the Spectre.
But just the fact that they're planting that seed. In the Constantine world, they're saying, look, we want to go obscure. We want to go definitely supernatural with this show. We want to try to incorporate as much DC. Now, have they made a mention to like Swamp Thing at all?
No, not as far as I know. No.
Like as far as
if they start doing Justice League Dark, that'd be pretty awesome.
Basically, man, they could. They could have
who knows if Guillermo's going to do it?
They could have Deadman in there. You could have a bunch of great, weird, freaky DC stuff. Yeah. And the Spectre is one of the best. Yeah. And pretty. I'm
looking forward to it. I hope they do a justice, and even if it's an origin story, great.
For sure.
You know.
For sure.
So. So we got one final bit of news, Terminator Genisys.
Which has been comic, so that's what we're allowed to talk
about.
Exactly.
It's been a comic, and they just, not just finished shooting Terminator Genisys, but most recently, it's kind of been more recently they've finished shooting. They already announced 2 sequels.
Yeah.
2 sequels.
Yeah.
The first of which is going to come out on May 19th, 2017, and the second one is going to come out on June 29th, 2018.
So a year apart.
Which I believe begs the question is, are they going to shoot these back to back?
Matrix style? Lord of the Rings style?
It would make sense. Or simultaneously. I don't know.
When does Terminator Genisys come out?
Terminator Genisys is going to be out July 1st of next year.
So 2015. And then 2 years later, part 2.
And then a year later,
after that, part 3. To this new series. How do you feel about that, man? What do you think?
It's ballsy. Yeah. Because Terminator Salvation to me was not a good Terminator movie. And,
I dug it. I dug it. I definitely liked it more than
Terminator 3. Yeah.
And I feel like
I agree
you know
with
what?
you. Yeah.
Right? Like Rise of the Machines was that was a misfire.
I think Salvation had redeeming qualities about it, and I think the actors were part of it.
Yeah.
Just McG for that type of movie didn't really do it for me.
You know
but
what the other thing too was
Alan Taylor's doing Terminator Genisys.
Yeah.
And he's directed Game of Thrones. Some people are not big fans of Thor: The Dark World. I like Thor: The Dark World. And so I think this movie,
and Arnold's in it.
He plays he plays an older Terminator.
Yeah.
He's got like gray hair and stuff, and
what
Emilia Clarke is in
it.
Happen? So this movie is basically supposed to be kind of a retelling of the Terminator story.
Yeah.
So it inspires confidence. It makes it sound like they have a plan for all 3 movies.
You got to be ballsy. You have to be ballsy these days. You really do.
So I think they definitely have kind of an idea of where the movie's going to start, how it's going to progress to part 2, and then where it's going to end in 3. Maybe it's not going to permanently get cut off and end. It could lead into more movies, but
you know what? That is at least more encouraging than when they came out with Terminator Salvation, and there were still story beats that we recognize from the Terminator mythology that they didn't even do in that movie.
Right.
Why? Because they were planning on having a sequel, and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, don't plan for sequels. Like, do a standalone story. Put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Do that, and then if we get to the other stuff, have a backup plan.
Yeah, which I think how you have to go about these kind of movies. You have to make sure that the one movie can be a self-contained movie.
Right.
You make it with the intent of maybe dropping hints toward a sequel, but you never make it with the intent of making a sequel. You make the intent of making just a good movie, and then you worry about it.
You got it, man.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm still excited. I'm excited for a new Terminator movie. I hope
Can't
that
wait.
it's more in the vein of James Cameron's Terminator, but
yes,
I really feel like if you want that, you need James Cameron to make it. But, you know, at this point, he's not going to make, I don't think at least he's going to make another Terminator movie.
He's done with Terminator.
Yeah, he's got Avatar. He's got 10 Avatar movies to make. So who knows? But that's going to wrap it up for us. We're going to be obviously back 2 more times this week to give you guys more news. We're going to keep you updated as much as we can. If you guys want to follow us, we're on YouTube, obviously, youtube.com/thefilmpundits. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and mostly on Twitter, all under The Film Pundits. We also have a website, thefilmpundits.com. And Hector, where can people find you personally on the internet?
Jeez, that was a lot of stuff. Y'all can find me on Twitter at Hector is funny, because I'm so funny.
And you guys can find me on my personal pages, just all under Adam Hlavik. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. We hope you guys like this new shorter format. We're going to do these 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, we all are also have Throwback Thursday, which is little recaps and look backs into the past of previous incarnations of our favorite heroes. And we're going to start doing other videos. We also got Hector's going to be reviewing the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Blu-ray. Yeah, man. Which is exciting.
Look for that.
Exactly.
And also, the next review that we're probably going to do, a Blu-ray review, is going to be Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I can't wait. I love that movie. Yeah. That's great.
So that comes out Tuesday. So, yeah, we hope you guys like this. And please subscribe. Please share with your friends. Let's get a lot of people in on the conversation. Let us know what you think about the news topics that we discussed. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.